Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast, the official podcast of Left Wing Lock, your number one source for fantasy hockey intelligence, and a proud partner of the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm Devin Davidson, your host. With me, as always, Bruce Gunther, John Enns, and Tyler Homan. Boys, buckle up.
No kidding.
This is going to be exciting.
For our listeners, episode 53, NHL Week 23, waiver wire picks and preview. Just for everyone's knowledge, Bruce is doing headlines again, but apparently he was doing some of them during the Rush game last night. I haven't had a chance to read through them yet because I was actually out of town last night as well. And Tyler's got a hockey game at 9:30, I think. So he's going to take off. He's here now. He'll be taking off at some point. So I'm gonna steal a Bob Stauffer line and just say that the show is going to be fluid.
Oh God,
I'm out.
When you say fluid, I hope that means alcohol.
Well, I do have a drink here, yeah, guaranteed. But
Probably should have got one before I sat down.
Anyway, just in the interest of time, John, let's get right into it. John's list.
Oh boy, this is exciting because as Bruce was frantically doing his notes, I was frantically thinking of a player. And then for some reason, Jamie Benn's name popped in my head, and I was like, nope, it's him. It's him. Jamie Benn is my my player on the list for tonight. I don't know. He just has this vibe to him that I just don't like, and I don't know why.
Classic John line.
Well,
I just don't like him.
It's a shoddy excuse. Don't get me wrong, it's a shoddy excuse, but I don't know. It's never a guy that I want on my team. It's yeah.
Is it because he won the Art Ross for like the fewest points ever with 87?
Yeah, that's trash.
He's got a good cap hit, though.
Yep. What about the Ish, Tyler?
Oh, it's not good. His Ish is bad.
His Ish is bad. Okay.
Badish. Oh my.
Anything else to say about Jamie Benn? I actually like Jamie Benn as a player.
Really?
I'd take him on my team.
Ooh.
I mean, he's not the player he used to be, that's for sure, but
He used to be. Was he any good before?
well, I mean, won the Art Ross once, so that's okay.
87 points. You just brought up how mediocre he was.
I know. I'm trying to come up with an argument here, man, to not have him on your list, but it's tough.
Roman Josi almost has as many points this year
Well,
as Jamie Benn did when he won.
interesting you should mention that, Tyler, because our fantasy lock of the week from March 14th to the 20th is your boy, the Jost dog, Roman Josi. He's been crushing it lately. 9 points. So in this past week, 3 games played, 9 points, 2 power play points, 13 shots on goal, +6. Just about 25 minutes a game. 3 straight games with 3 assists. And in the game before that, he had 2 goals and 2 assists. He's at 22 points and 3 goals in his last 9 games played.
He's pretty good.
Insane numbers from that guy. He's on pace now for 103 points.
I think I drafted him like 68th, too.
Jeez.
So close. If only he would have went one more pick.
That would have been the cherry on top, hey? If Tyler could have said that.
You couldn't just fib that one?
No, I checked earlier today.
Oh.
I was going to make a joke about it, but
Not quite.
not quite.
Well, fantastic numbers from him. He's just having a phenomenal season. Honorable mentions here go to Kyle Connor, who had 8 points, 2 goals, and 6 assists. 2 power play points, 9 shots in 3 games played. And then, Bruce, you're not going to like this one, but David Perron, 5 points, 4 goals, 1 assist, 2 power play points, 10 shots on goal in 2 games played.
Oh, well, as you get farther down the notes here, I've got a little note on him in there since how he's been since I dropped him. So
And I picked him up.
it's he's been lighting the league up, and yep.
He's looked pretty good. So there it is. There's our fantasy locks of the week presented by Left Wing Lock. Let's move on to headlines with the Hacks. News and injury updates for March 14th to the 20th. Bruce, I can't wait to see what you came up with this week.
Neither can I.
Our partner Left Wing Lock has developed a playoff probabilities tool. I've got the link in there for that as well. I'm going to try and just post those maybe once a week for each division, just for people's interest. I think it's fun. The other thing here is go check out the news page on Left Wing Lock. I'll put that in here as well. We're going to talk about some of the trades that have gone down over the last few days. Some of them are bigger than others, and we're not going to talk about every single trade because not all of them are fantasy relevant, but we'll go through some of them. If you want to see every trade that's gone on, I mean, by all means, check out Left Wing Lock. All right, so first up, the NHL's 3 stars for the week ending March 13th are Patrick Kane. John, I love that. Jacob Markstrom and Anders Lee. Anders Lee's been fantastic. Lots of goals. Tyler, even you can't dispute that one. Yeah. Well, moving on. Yeah, I didn't have time for that one. Auston Matthews is suspended 2 games for his cross-check on Rasmus Dahlin. I mean, we had talked about that last episode, and I don't think any of us loved the hit, and 2 games was pretty much what we'd expected. So, yeah. Robin Leonard was placed on IR by the Golden Knights. I love how shitty they are lately. Just brings a smile to my face.
Right?
Yep. Riley Smith of the Golden Knights also placed on IR. They almost thought they lost Jack Eichel, but of course he played yesterday, so that was good if you're a Jack Eichel owner like myself. Jacob Chychrun is out 2 to 4 weeks with lower body injury, so I mean a little more severe than initial reports that they thought he had dodged anything long term. So I mean 2 to 4 weeks, not huge. Chance of him getting moved at the deadline, I don't know. Probably not. Probably an off-season move. Hey Tyler, what do you think?
Just with those prices that teams are paying, even for rentals, but guys with a little bit of term, that's a big deal. I think it probably happens at the draft.
I would agree. Like Brandon Hagel got 2 firsts. What an insane price for that guy.
And 2 roster players too. Not good roster players, but still 2 roster players.
Yeah.
So
I had to laugh because you were talking about him like last week, or was it the week before? He's just having a good season. He's not that good.
I think his shooting percentage is like 22%.
Yeah, it's high.
Yeah,
it's way up there.
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing is, I don't think he's going to play top 6 minutes in Tampa anyway. Like he might be he's most likely going to play on the third line, I think.
They're talking about revamping that third line that they had previously, like with Gaudreau and who's all in there. So Gaudreau, Maroon, and who else was the other one? Coleman.
Yep.
Right, Blake Coleman.
Yep.
So they were talking about how he's going to be one of those anchors on that new third line.
And then they
try and bring that to recreate that again.
Who did they just trade for? Was it Nick Paul? Was that the other guy they just picked up?
Yeah, for Matthew Joseph.
Oh, I missed that part of it. Because Matthew Joseph's been good for me.
Yeah, Matthew Joseph in a 4th. And I think Joseph was playing more 4th line minutes in Tampa, but
yeah,
he seemed like he was kind of set up last year anyways for a bit of more of a breakout this year. It just didn't really come together, but
yeah. Well, if I'm Matthew Joseph, I'm not happy, but
no.
If I'm Nick Paul, I'm real happy.
Yep.
Go work on my tan and get a cup. Cool.
He's already got a pretty good tan too. So.
Lawson Crouse scored a hat trick versus the Senators on Monday. He's come on lately here. I think he scored another goal right after that too. So, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall correctly, he's in our waiver wire picks. We'll talk about later. Ducks defenseman Josh Manson has been traded to the Avalanche for defenseman Drew Hellison and a 2023 second-round pick. Ducks retain half of Manson's salary. That's a good pickup for the Avs, in my opinion. Helps bolster their defense a little bit. Tyson Jost to the Wild for Nico Sturm. Good move there. I think just gives Jost some a chance to just get things kickstarted for himself, and then Nico Sturm, he's just going to be a better bottom 6 player. A little more physicality. Eric Kallgren recorded a 35-save shutout over the Dallas Stars in his first career start for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll talk about him in the waiver picks as well. Ovechkin scored career goal 767, passing Jaromir Jagr for 3rd place on the all-time goals scored list for the NHL.
I love the video that Jagr sent. Jens sent
Yeah.
Ovechkin.
That was pretty funny.
I haven't retired yet. I might come back.
I'll be coming for you. Yeah. Classic Jagr, eh?
Absolutely.
Boston Bruins winger Nick Fleeto played in his 1,000th career game. Nick and his father Mike, who played 1,018 games, are the second father-son duo to play over 1,000 games each. You might know who the other duo is, Bobby and Brett Hull. Cole Caufield just keeps scoring. Yes, he does, Bruce. Scored 2 goals in 8 seconds versus the Coyotes. Yeah, we'll have to get back to that one. With his assist on the Leafs' first goal last night, Mitch Martin became the first player in Leafs history to start his career with 6 seasons of 40-plus assists. And now he's scoring goals too, so that's great. With his goal against the Stars, Tavares has now had 12 seasons where he's recorded 20 or more goals. Only 3 active players have more: Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, and Patrick Kane. He does not seem to get enough respect. Or am I wrong?
Tavares?
John Tavares.
Tavares?
I seen something when Matthews was suspended for those 2 games. It was something about Tavares gets his opportunity on the top line or something like that. He's like an $11 million player. He should probably be able to play on the first line.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I know some Leafs fans that just aren't, they don't love Tavares, and Doug Allen comes into my office once a week, I think, and just talks about how shitty he is as a player.
He's on the list.
Yeah, you too. So there you go.
I have seen him play, and he does play pretty well, but yeah, no.
Well, don't get me wrong, he's not worth $11 million, but anyway.
Nope.
Daryl Sutter with the quote of the day: "If you're a wild card team, I sure as hell don't want to play the Colorado Avalanche in the first round because it's going to be a waste of 8 days."
How about his outfit when he had that little speech? Barely wearing a shirt.
Yeah. Classic Daryl.
Guy looks like he was just finished wrestling cows right before that.
He probably was. Yeah. He's just a character, that guy. Like
I think
He's had a few good quotes.
I think just after that too, wasn't Gunbranson missed, I think, 15 minutes or something like that getting stitched up, and he said after that he could have stitched them up in 5 minutes. He stitches cows in 10 minutes. Something like that.
Classic cowboy, hey? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. He's such a good fit in Calgary. The report out of Ottawa is that Matt Murray could be out for the rest of the season with an upper body injury. So if you haven't already, if you're looking for goaltender help, go pick up Anton Forsberg. He's been fantastic, and now he pretty much owns the net by default.
Unless he gets traded.
Still could happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Florida Panthers acquired defenseman Ben Schrot from the Montreal Canadiens for Ty Smolanek, a 4th-round pick in 2022 and a 1st-round pick in 2023. Montreal retains 50% salary on Schrot. I added him to the waiver wire picks, mostly because D were hard to come by this week, but good for him, and especially now with Ekblad going out. I think, even if Ekblad's just week to week, Schrot's going to shoulder a bit more of the load. And then, who else did they pick up? Florida picked up another defenseman.
Haig,
thank you. Yeah. I was going to check later. I want to check the sportsbook odds to win the Stanley Cup, like now, and then tomorrow night when the deadline's passed. I'll have to post that later. The New York Rangers acquired forward Frank Vetrano from the Florida Panthers for a 2022 4th-round pick. The Flames acquired forward Calle Jarnkrok from the Seattle Kraken for Florida's 2022 2nd-round pick, the 3rd in 2023, and the 7th in 2024. Seattle also retains 50% salary on Jarnkrok. Good player, good buds with Lindholm and...
Well, they're cousins, aren't they?
They're cousins. And then who's the other guy that's from... Markstrom's from the same town, I think.
Yeah.
They all come from the same area. So someone posted a meme about the Flames jersey. It was Swedish colors. That was pretty good.
Sutter had another joke about it too, because I guess Lindholm and Markstrom really talked him up.
Okay.
And Sutter said, "You better be careful. You might cut into your minutes."
Fair enough.
Although I don't think Lindholm has to worry about that too much.
No, I'd say not. But So the Flames get better, Tyler, which I know we absolutely fucking hate, but
Next, let's move on.
okay. Yeah, no more
is
time
trash.
on that. Trash.
We're talking about trash.
Ottawa Senators defenseman Thomas Chabot left tonight's game with the Columbus Blue Jackets against the Blue Jackets with an upper body injury. The update here is Shabbat has a broken hand, likely to miss the rest of the season. I don't think there's really a great replacement option if you're looking in terms of fantasy. Was it Chris Weidman's been playing? Yeah. No, anyway, I'd probably just move on. But look for an external replacement there on D.
Here's some help, but no help at all.
We'll get to some defensemen here in the waiver wire ads, but unfortunate news there. The San Jose Sharks signed center Thomas Hertl to an 8-year contract with an AAV of $8.1375 million.
That's too much.
That's too much for Hertl, I think. And of course, the talk now is Philip Forsberg is just licking his chops.
Yeah.
Like that guy's going to get $9 million now for sure.
And it may not be in Nashville.
Claude Giroux skated in his 1,000th game as a Philadelphia Flyer. He will not play Friday or Sunday as he awaits a trade. Of course, now we know that he got traded to the Florida Panthers. I'm really curious to see where he plays.
Very curious.
Is he... I could see them having him play second line with Bennett and Huberdeau, and then just bumping who was on the right side. I'll have to go back and look, but I mean, or they just go deep down the center, right, or down the middle.
I seen them talking about him playing on the left side with Barkov.
That would make sense too.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm moving for Hagee and then just have it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Yep, I like that. That does well for my shares in Barkov.
Oh.
Thanks, Tyler.
Good thing I held on to Giroux. So
Me too.
Good for both of you. Yeah, no kidding. Jake Allen returned from injury to guard the crease for the Canadians. Who did they beat last night? It's 5-1. Tyler, you probably had some money on it.
I actually won last night, but it wasn't on that game.
Senators.
Yeah.
5-1.
Beat Ottawa.
That's definitely the Senators.
Yeah. All right. TJ Oshie left tonight's game, or this would have been earlier in the week with a lower body injury.
Yeah.
Chris Kreider scored his 40th goal of the season versus the Islanders. Seems like everyone's scoring 40 this year. The Vegas curse has now struck Jack Eichel. He left tonight's game. Yeah, well, he's back now, like we said.
He's
played
back,
last night, but there was some concern there. I wondered if he was going to be out for more cap circumvention going on.
We're going to have the largest cap hit on LTIR in the history of the NHL.
Yep. Crazy. Report from Vegas is that Robin Leonard has a broken kneecap and may miss the rest of the season. We're just basically at this point waiting for official confirmation, right?
Yeah. Well, Leonard did come out and say, I think it was yesterday, that it's he didn't dispute the injury. He just disputed that he probably would not miss the rest of the season.
Okay. After tonight's win, Vitek Vanecek now has 6 wins with a .930 save percentage. If he's still available in your league, go get him now. No question.
And I believe he won again today, too. Today being Sunday.
I think they lost, actually.
Yeah, they lost.
Did they?
They lost to Dallas.
3-2.
Oh, the last time I checked, they were ahead.
Yeah. No, they lost, unfortunately.
Oh, crap. Oh, well.
I started Vanecek over Ottinger just because he'd been so good. And Ottinger's been slipping a little bit lately, but... Anyway, I've got them both, so it's fine. It's fine. The Chicago Blackhawks trade, well, we talked about Brandon Hagel already. Won't beat that dead horse. Aaron Ekblad, talked about that one. Nino Niederreiter of the Carolina Hurricanes is set to have a hearing with the Department of Player Safety for slashing Axel Johnson Falby. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with it. I didn't see the play. Did anyone see that one?
No.
I did not.
What did he get, a game?
I think he got a game, yeah. Game or two.
Okay. I guess the details on that trade are, so it was Giroux. They traded Giroux, Rutzoff, Connor Buneman, and a 2024 fourth-round pick to the Panthers for Owen Tippett a 2024 first-round pick and a 2023 third-round pick. I'd say it's a pretty good return if you're Philadelphia. Like, Owen Tippett's a good prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Considering it came out today that Giroux told the Flyers he'd only waive for Florida, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I think they could have gotten better from Colorado, but he obviously wasn't going to go there. So,
yeah,
I had heard that. I think it might have been Elliot Friedman that said the return from Colorado is better. I'm curious as to why he didn't want to go to Colorado. Like,
I think guys that play in the East for so long just want to be in the East.
Yeah.
The travel is so much less. And
Yeah.
I mean, Florida's pretty nice.
and Florida, yeah, too. Yeah. It makes sense. I think the travel thing makes a lot of sense. He's kind of getting old, so it'll be easier on his body.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. The Anaheim Ducks traded Hampus Lindholm and Cody Curran to the Bruins for John Moore, Eero Vakanainen, 2022 first-round pick, 2023 second-round pick, and a 2024 second-round pick. I didn't expect Boston to trade for Lindholm, if I'm being honest. Didn't see that one coming.
And then they extended him too.
Signed a massive 8-year deal, didn't he?
8 years, $6.5 million.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, that really does wonders for their blue line there.
Absolutely.
It's funny too because they didn't want to sign Krug for what he ended up signing for.
Yeah.
And then they just trade and sign him for the exact same contract
But if you look,
with quarter
if you,
as many points.
You look at Lindholm, though. Lindholm's 6'4".
Yeah.
Krug isn't even 6 feet.
I think it's the
No, he's-
defensive part of the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
and now they've got like McAvoy looks like he's kind of rounding into form a little bit in terms of offense, and they've got Grzelcyk too who can chip in. So,
yeah.
I don't know. With a goal Saturday night, Philip Forsberg is now the Nashville Predators' all-time goal scorer with 211 goals. With 2 goals Saturday, Crosby has 87 career multi-goal games in his career.
They said there's only 3 teams he hasn't scored 2 goals against. Seattle, Vegas, and, of course, the Penguins.
There you go. Maybe he should have been the lock of the week, John.
Absolutely.
Oh, we have a Bruce's blunder. Well, you kind of already mentioned it, Bruce, but Bruce's blunder of the season was dropping David Perron just before he went on his ridiculous scoring streak. Since the All-Star break, he has now scored 13 goals and 6 assists in 17 games. Bruce, I want to thank you. That was either a late or early Christmas gift. I'm not sure which way to look at it, but
You're welcome.
How much did he pay you, Bruce?
Not nearly enough.
Yeah.
Not nearly
there was
enough.
no exchange of goods or services or cash. Yeah, none of that. With an assist tonight, Matt Zuccarello has set a career high in points with 63.
Well, I worded that terribly, didn't I?
I'm just assuming that's what you meant. So our
I was
listeners
typing-
didn't need to know that you spelled it wrong, but they do now. So
I did this on a cell phone in the middle of an arena.
it's all good. It's all good. Also with an assist tonight, Kevin Fiala set a career best in points with 55. He's having a good season. Like you said earlier, Bruce, Leonard denied the report of the fractured kneecap, and Eichel returned. Tarasenko missed Saturday's game due to illness. Extension there. The Vancouver Canucks acquired defenseman Travis Dermott from the Toronto Maple Leafs for a third-round pick in 2022. The Ottawa Senators acquired defenseman Travis Hamnick from the Canucks for a third-round pick in 2022. Originally belonged to the Golden Knights.
How does that trade make any sense to anybody here?
I'm also not sure.
I'm guessing a salary cap dump.
Yeah, but how do you give him a third-round pick to dump salary on yourself?
They could have got Hamnick for nothing earlier in the season. He was on waivers.
Yeah.
I don't
Philip
know.
Myers. Philip Myers was on waivers. Ended up in Nashville, but even then you could got him for nothing too. Instead, you paid somebody a third-round pick for that weird cat, Travis Hamnick, who maybe thinks Ottawa's in Western Canada now, or he's gone through all the Western Canadian teams. Now he has to go
I
to
don't
Ottawa.
know.
Right?
Who knows? Maybe one of the GMs is slipping the other one some money, Tyler. You never know.
Well, who's their assistant GM?
In Ottawa?
Yeah, Pierre Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sucking dirty
This is a-
pond water.
that's,
Pierre Maguire move.
that's all you need to know. Oh, yikes.
Yeah. And it starts. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Mark Giordano and Colin Blackwell from the Seattle Kraken for a 2022 second-round pick, a 2023 second-round, and a 2024 third-round pick. So I like both of those acquisitions for the Maple Leafs.
Definitely.
Yeah, John, you're shaking your head. I mean, Giordano, I think that's a good, for their D, I think that's a good ad. You don't like that?
No, I just don't like the guy.
No. Another T-shirt right there. I just don't like the guy. And that one will have your face on it.
Absolutely.
And then Colin Blackwell, like he's shown he can be effective in a fourth line role in New York.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, Toronto's going for it. It just seems like everybody is going for it right now. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
teams. You got Colorado, you got Florida, you got Toronto, Boston's making moves. Calgary's been in everything.
I think I'd
Convenient.
rather have Giordano too for a couple seconds and a third than what Montreal ended up getting for Schrot.
Yeah.
But I think Giordano does a little bit more even at his age right now than Schrot does. And you don't give up a first.
And you don't give up a first. Yeah. Especially with these next couple drafts coming up. Like next year's supposed to be really deep, I think, right?
Yep.
And then also interesting was that the Leafs placed Petr Mrazek on waivers.
Yeah, I think they know nobody's going to pick him up, and they saved $1.25 million against the cap with him being assigned.
Sure.
But 3.8 for another 3 years, I think. Like, I think the only team that might even consider it might be Arizona. I mean, who else is going to pick him up for that full cap hit for that long? He's got I think it's like an 883 save percentage this year. It's not good.
No. It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's worse than Mike Smith.
That's bad.
Mike Smith had a solid showing on, was that Thursday night against Buffalo?
Yeah, what do you get,
Yeah.
like 3 shots against or something?
Maybe. I don't even know. But hey, the Oilers are rolling right now. We didn't even get into that yet, but makes me happy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Let's hope they get that fourth line winger tomorrow and maybe a depth defenseman.
Guys are
Mike and I had a McDavid trade all worked out on our group chat.
What's that, Bruce?
I said Mike and I had a McDavid trade between David and
Oh, gee.
between Edmonton and Philly.
Shut up, Bruce.
Yeah. I was going to
That-
storm into your office on Friday, but I didn't have a chance to before you left.
Am I in that group chat? Did I just miss that?
You missed that one. Well, I think your notifications are turned off, but
Yeah, thank God.
It
I'm
was
gonna leave 'em
awesome.
off.
It was awesome.
yeah. No, not ever happening. And then the last bit of news here is just about Aaron Ekblad. So he's on LTIR. He's going to miss the rest of the regular season. So who steps up in Florida there then? In terms of fantasy?
Uyghur and Montour.
Yeah, Uyghur.
I guess Uyghur would be next man up, and then Montour will get a bit more power play time. And then Schrot too, like she'll probably get more time at even strength. So, okay, there you go. That's headlines of the Hacks. So let's let our listeners know about NHLShop.ca. The Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of NHLShop.ca, the best source for all your officially licensed NHL apparel and merchandise. Be sure to follow the links in our show notes or on our website. Save up to 50% on select apparel now and get free shipping on orders over $99. Use promo code NHLFS99 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. Full disclosure, Fantasy Hockey Hacks may receive a small commission for your purchase, which helps us to continue providing original content and fueling Tyler's gambling habits, which apparently got a little better this week.
We're about even on
Okay.
the week, so I'll take it. It's
You'll
not
take
good.
it. You're not
It's
down.
bad. Nope.
Alrighty. Well, let's move on to the next segment here, Ask the Hacks.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Do you think Kevin Fiala will have a better rest of season than Teuvo Teravainen? I'm thinking of adding Fiala and dropping Teravainen. The other option would be to drop Pavel Buchnevich. My answer here eventually was to drop Buchnevich. I wouldn't feel comfortable dropping Teravainen. And I think, Tyler, you maybe made that mistake last year. I think you did get him back.
I did.
But you probably felt a little guilty dropping him, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
He's a good player. I think he's underrated in terms of the offense he can provide. And looking at all the numbers and stuff, Buchnevich seemed like the obvious drop candidate to me. Kevin Fiala's been really good. Bruce, as a Wild fan, what's your take on that one?
Oh yeah, second half Fiala for sure.
Second half Fiala.
For sure.
Yeah. Go grab him. John?
I'm going to agree with all of you.
Okay. Good. Boring radio. Love it. Would you rather have Valeri Nichushkin or Tyler Toffoli in a points league?
Toffoli.
I'm going to agree with that sentiment.
I haven't looked at the numbers here to be sure. But Nichushkin is awfully enticing right now, playing on the top line in Colorado. And I did look yesterday or the day before. He's on pace right now, I think, for 65 points and 32 goals. So I don't know. I'd maybe lean Nichushkin. But Tyler, what's your take on it?
Gotcha.
For our listeners, he's got his mic muted, and I think he's making a call to his bookie right now. I'm not really sure what he's doing. But he actually might be setting his lineup. That's probably why he's laughing.
Well, while he's
Probably
sitting there
trying to pick
dying, I'll give my 2 cents and just say, I'd say Toffoli only because Toffoli's got, 15 points in 17 games with the Flames, and he's picked it up since coming over from Montreal. So, yeah, no, I'm going Toffoli.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, what was the question?
Great choice. Toffoli all day.
Great choice. Okay. Well, I won't fight that one. I didn't look at it too closely, but I just really like Nichushkin playing with McKinnon and Rantanen. So, next question here. What do I do with Dougie Hamilton?
Keep him.
Yeah. You just hold on to him. It kind of sucks right now. I think most people didn't expect to see Severson taking a lot of the power play time. But what are you going to do? What's the alternative, right? I don't think you're going to find a replacement on the waiver wire, and Hamilton covers a lot of categories. So,
Not with the way defensemen have been dropping lately.
yeah. I would hold and suffer if I were you. You guys all agree? Okay.
Yes.
What is your stance on stacking multiple being 2 or 3 players from the same team for playoffs? The listener mentioned, yeah. The listener mentioned 3 St. Louis players specifically. Thanks for the question, Chandel. Keep them coming. Yeah, yeah. John, go ahead.
I have a hard enough time stacking, I don't know, if you can call 2 players a stack or goalies even. I just don't like it. I try to avoid it as much as possible.
I try to get stacks of 2 players. I don't like having 3 players from the same team, but 2 guys on the same line. 2 guys on the same line. I try and do that all the time.
You're weird.
I had 6 Minnesota Wild at one point this year on the team.
Yeah,
so
Bruce is full stack. Full stack.
You're
for
desperate.
Bruce.
I went full stack, and it went great for a while, but then it went off the rails and made a couple of trades. Now I only have 3.
Bruce actually thought he was the GM of the Wild.
If I collect all the Wild players, maybe they'll let me manage them for real.
Yeah.
My take on it and what I had suggested to Chandel was I just, for me personally, 2 is the max for me. I don't like having more than 2 players from any one team on my roster. I like to diversify my roster as much as I can. I get the option, Tyler, of stacking line mates. That makes sense. But in general, I I try to pick the best players from different teams and just as much as I can. I don't mind if it's like I've got their, 1C from wherever, and then I've got their 1D from wherever. Like that's, to me, that's okay, because then you're getting the stack on the power play too. And generally that works out okay. But in terms of these guys like St. Louis, I said no, I'd try and avoid that if I could. So there it is. Is Landeskog droppable at this point? I have Tony DeAngelo on IR currently, but he's expected to be back soon. Landeskog is currently listed as out, so I can't move him into IR. I think he's going to have to get moved. Well, in this league specifically, that was just the information was provided to me, but he's going to have to get moved to LTIR, I would believe, right? If they're trying to make any sort of move to bring somebody in, they got to clear his cap space.
Yeah. Wait till after the trade deadline passes tomorrow and see what happens. If they don't make a move, they may not do that. If they do make a move, they probably will put him on LTIR, depending on who they can get.
Yeah, that was my advice. Just wait till after the trade deadline and see what happens.
Don't you want to drop him anyways? Because he's getting knee surgery. They don't even know if he'll be back for the first round.
Yeah, so realistically, you probably could. But do you want to, my concern if it were me, and I have Landeskog in one league, is I drop him now, he comes back, say, for the finals, right? And so I've got him for 3 games during the final week. It's slim, but it could happen, and you'd like to have him in your roster if he's playing. So if you can stash him, stash him. But if it comes down to it and you can't, then yeah, maybe just let him go. Because yeah, he's not going to play a lot of games. I looked at that. It's minimum going to be two weeks recovery, and probably more likely they're going to hold him out until the end of the season, right? So yeah, stash if you can. If not, he probably won't play again. So yeah, Dylan Larkin or William Nylander for the rest of the season. I kind of leaned Nylander, and I'll just tell you why. It was based on teammates, or the team itself, his line mates, and then I think it was partially the schedule, but it's really close. I looked at the numbers. It's very comparable.
Yeah, I think I'd keep Willie too.
And less of an injury risk too. Like Larkin scares me a bit that way. Okay. We'll roll with that. Would I regret dropping Sam Bennett? He slowed down a bit, but I'm sure he'd get scooped up. Waiver options include Brock Nelson, Dylan Strome, Matthew Boldy, Nico Hischier, and others in that vein. Points league with goals, assists, plus minus, power play points, shorthanded goals, shots on goal, face-off wins, face-off losses, hits, blocks, thanks. I kind of said, yeah, I think you would end up regretting that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
Boldy and Hischier are some decent options now. But
Nelson too, he had another hat trick.
Oh, did he?
So he's on pace for 42 or 43 goals.
Yeah, I still think I hang on to Bennett though.
I'd have a tough time dropping him.
Yeah.
I'd hang on to him.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that what you were doing?
We just had another listener question. Wow, this is a good one. If Shoddy did in fact have them apple-bottom jeans and the boots with the fur, was the whole club looking at her? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen. You know what? I mean,
They
first of
probably
all,
were.
yeah, probably. The whole club probably was looking at her, but it also depends on what her ish was. And
throw that to Bruce. Bruce, what was it?
Bruce.
Oh, yikes!
Oh man. Okay, well there you go. That's Ask the Hacks for the week. So thank you to everyone that took the time to submit some questions. Tyler, you got a few minutes here. I'm not sure if you're going to stick around or not. You're probably going to take off, Kate.
I'm out.
Okay, before you leave, shout out to Charlie. Right?
Ooh, yes.
I didn't forget.
Oh, definitely.
I didn't forget. Charlie, Tyler explained to us that you listen all the time. You're a big fan of the show. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your support. We are going to send you a t-shirt. I have to order that because we don't have any in your size currently, but we're going to get you a t-shirt. So yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
Just get her one in my size. It'll probably fit.
Okay. We
That's
are
a
short
small
guys.
joke. That's a small joke.
I was
That's
gonna
small, yeah.
say. Tyler's like a grown-up 10-year-old.
Shout out Charlie. Thanks for listening. I'm out of here, guys.
Okay. See you, Tyler.
All right.
Hey,
Oh,
see
hey,
you,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Tyler, keep your stuff on.
It's all on. Everything's
Okay.
on.
Okay. Okay. Bye. All right. So with that, we'll let Tyler get to his game because he is their most important player.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He approves for sure. Okay.
Should have got him to do the ad read before he left.
Oh,
Right?
he wouldn't have had time for that one. No, he would. Man, sometimes I wish our listeners could see what we're looking at.
I don't know. Oh boy.
All right. I guess I'll do the ad read this week because Bruce and John, you've kind of tackled it the past couple weeks, so thank you for that.
I was gonna say I'm gonna put my mic on mute and go walk around for a couple minutes here, so you don't ask.
Yeah, you go take a break. You stretch your legs. As a member of the Hockey Podcast Network, the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of DraftKings. The NHL season has been packed with dirty dangles, hat tricks, and big wins. As the action rolls on, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has your shot to win big too. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's right. A bump in the win column for your team means free bets for you. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have a shot to light the lamp. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy hockey contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet just $1 on any NHL team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. 21 plus restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537 in Illinois, Indianapolis, Minnesota, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Wyoming. 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado and New Hampshire. 888-789-7777. Visit http://ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Indianapolis. 1-877-770-STOP, 7867 in Louisiana. 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369 in New York. Visit opgr.org in Oregon. Call or text the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or 1-888-532-3500 in Virginia. 21 or older, 18 plus in New Hampshire and Wyoming. Physically present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indianapolis, Louisiana, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming only. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. I'm going to take a drink here. All right, good to go. Let's move on to the next segment here, Edge Work, the segment where we do the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey leagues, starting with the schedule for Week 23. And here's what you need to know. Week 23 in the NHL is a busy one with 54 total games on the schedule. As per usual, the busiest days this upcoming week will be Tuesday with 11 games, Thursday with 10, and Saturday with 12. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are particularly light days. That's 50% or less of NHL clubs in action, with just 4, 4, and 5 games respectively. Sunday is rather busy with 8 games on the slate. The Colorado Avalanche have a near-perfect schedule with 4 games, all taking place on light days, and a favorable schedule of -8. Pittsburgh is another team that fantasy managers should keep their eye on. They play 4 games, 3 of them on light days, and also have a relatively easy matchup with Columbus, Buffalo, New York, and Detroit. And then finally, Winnipeg is the other team to really consider for next week. 2 of their 4 games take place on light days, and they match up well on paper against their opponents, which are Vegas, Ottawa, Columbus, and Arizona. So just a quick recap on the schedule. 4 games Monday, 11 Tuesday, 4 Wednesday, Thursday 10, Friday 5, Saturday 12, and Sunday 8. And then some teams of interest here or of note. Starting with the Colorado Avalanche, like I said, who have 4 games. They've got the perfect schedule. They face Edmonton, who I think they're 6-3-1 now in their last 10. Vancouver, who's 7-2-1. Philadelphia, who's 3-5-2. And Minnesota, who's 3-6-1 in their last 10. The Avs are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, and despite losing Landeskog to injury, they've continued to roll. Over the last month, the Avs are 18th in goals for per game at 3.21. They're 8th on the power play at 25% and 12th on the penalty kill at 81.1%. The team is 12th in terms of possession with a shot attempt percentage of 51.3. And their record against upcoming opponents this week is 5-0-0. So they've pretty much owned the teams they've played so far. Some players to consider: Valeri Nichushkin, Andrei Burakovsky, Alex Newhook, JT Compher, and Pavel Francouz. Teams of 3 games, the Florida Panthers, their strength of schedule according to Left Wing Lock is -18, and the schedule looks good for them. And they've still got several fantasy-relevant players that are widely available. They play just 1 game on a light or off day, but they do face weaker competition against Montreal, who's 6-3-1, Ottawa, who's 3-7-1, Toronto, who's 6-3-1. The Leafs are going to present a challenge, obviously, for them next week, guys. But Toronto's goaltending issues, well, I mean, before Källgren, were well documented. Despite a winning record of 6-3-1 over the last 10 games, the Leafs have given up an average of 4 goals against per game. This is obviously before Källgren kind of lit the world on fire, but and then conversely, over the past month, Florida has been 4th in the league in terms of points percentage at 731, 3rd in goals for per game at 4.15 goals for per game, and 4th on the power play at 31%, and then 7th on the PK at 84.4%. So their record against upcoming opponents is 2-1-0. Some players to consider there: Anton Lundell, Mason Marchment, Carter Verhaeghe, Anthony Duclair, Brandon Montour, and Spencer Knight. What is going on with Bobrovsky? Because he backed up Spencer Knight yesterday or the day before, but he hasn't played now. Like Spencer Knight started something like 4 or 5 straight games.
Maybe they're resting him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, I mean, Spencer Knight's been really good, and we'll talk about him a bit more in the waiver ads. And then just not so much because you have to run out and pick anybody up from Seattle, but worth mentioning that they're the only team on the schedule that plays 2 games next week. Their strength of schedule, though, oddly enough, is -15, so it is a favorable schedule. But I would say still avoid Seattle. They've got just 2 matchups. They've got Arizona, who's actually 7-3-0 in their last 10, and then LA, who's 5-4-1. Seattle is just 2-6-2 in their last 10 games played, and over the last month, the special teams have struggled. 12% for the power play, 31st in the league, and 75% for the penalty kill, which puts them at 25th. Despite poor special teams, they've actually had good or strong possession numbers. Their shot attempts percentage is at 50.6%, which is good enough for 15th in the league. Their record against upcoming opponents this week is 0-3-0. Some players to look at would be Jared McCann, Jaden Schwartz, Jordan Eberle, and Vince Dunn. And Bruce, John, unless you've got anything else to add to the schedule portion of Edgework, that'll do it for teams of interest. And John, you'll have to turn your microphone back on.
Well, shoot. I was just going to say that it looks like Bobrovsky wasn't feeling well, so he missed a couple games or whatever. And plus, he took a puck to the face the other day. So
Okay. So they're just resting him up.
Yep. He's back on the ice, and apparently he looks good. So
Okay. Well, if you've got a young stud in goal you can use, you might as well use him, right?
Definitely.
Okay, good stuff there. Let's move on to NHL Week 23 waiver wire targets. Waiver wire targets, we focused on players with ownership of approximately 50% or less. If you see something in the notes here that says SOS, that's strength of schedule according to Left Wing Lock. Lower number is an easier schedule. A higher number is a harder schedule. And our top waiver wire targets, we're going to kick it off right away. We're going to talk about Cole Caufield, or Goal Caufield, Bruce, as you like to call him.
I forget who I stole that from, but yeah, that wasn't my original.
No, but
I stole that from somebody.
that goes back to playoffs last year when you and I were talking about playoffs on the podcast, and he was crushing it every day.
Yeah, there. Lots of speculation going around if they what would have happened if they would have made the move to St. Louis sooner in Montreal, what kind of season Caufield would have. I think he's second in goals now in rookie scoring.
Yeah.
I think I read.
Yeah. It'd be a much different story, that's for sure.
Definitely.
He's turned his season around. So he's 60% rostered.
He's got points in 12 out of 14 games, it looks like.
He's been cruising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 4 games on the schedule for Montreal next week. Boston, Florida, Toronto, New Jersey. +9 strength of schedule. But he's been locked on that top line with Suzuki and either Anderson. I mean, it's going to be Armia now if Anderson's not healthy enough to go. And he's on the top power play. This was interesting. I went and looked. Oh, sorry, John, you had a point there?
I was just going to say he's getting lots of minutes, getting them shifts in, so.
Oh, why did I let you talk? Damn it. Since January 1st, Caufield has produced at a rate of 3.5 points per 60. That's better production than Mikko Rantanen, Patrick Laine, Joe Pavelski, Blake Wheeler, Steven Stamkos, and Connor McDavid.
I was going to say, don't you say it.
I had to, though. I had to. So, he's been pretty good. 13 points, 6 goals in his last 10 games played. If he's still available in your league, go grab him. I mean, we don't have to say much else, but I just thought the points per 60 production was worth mentioning. Pretty interesting stuff. Shifts. Getting those shifts in.
Just upset about it.
It's going to stew for a while. All right, we talked about him earlier. Valeri Nichushkin. He does not play for Detroit. He actually plays for Colorado, but I screwed up my notes there.
Wow, there's going to be a lot of angry people at you.
Yeah, sorry, folks. Colorado, playing on the top line with McKinnon and Rantanen. 21% rostered. He's criminally underrated, or under-rostered, I should say. 4 games on the schedule for next week with a -7 strength of schedule. His fantasy value gets a bump with Landeskog being out, like I said. He's playing on the top power play unit. And as I mentioned earlier, 65-point, 32-goal pace for the season. Those guys are hard to find, especially this time of year.
Agreed.
Okay, and then also look at Andre Burakovsky. He's been pretty good throughout the entire season. 64% rostered at the time of writing. Next up, Lawson Crouse. You guys like Lawson Crouse?
I do.
You do? 16% rostered. 3 games on the schedule for next week. Playing with Kessel and Galchenyuk. Power play 1. He's on pace for 44 points and 26 goals, which would be career highs.
Yeah, he's been playing really well lately. There's no denying that. With his hattie the other night, and then getting a couple points the game after, and yeah, no, it's been good.
Yeah, we like just the whole Arizona team has been good in general.
They've been a lot.
Sorry, did you say something, Bruce?
They just been the whole team has been a lot better as of late.
Yeah. And 8 points, 5 goals in his last 6 games for Lawson Crouse. So don't hesitate to go grab him. Kyler Yamamoto. I was hoping Tyler would be here for this one because, you know, the haggle for Yamamoto talk is quieted, obviously. Just 5% rostered for Kyler Yamamoto. I think it's higher now, but at the time of writing, he was barely rostered. The Oilers have 4 games on the schedule for next week. It is a bit of a tough schedule. They got matchups with Colorado and Calgary, and then Dallas and San Jose. But he's playing with McDavid and Kane, and he's getting time on power play 1. And he put together a 4-game point streak at one point, 8 points, 5 goals in his last 8 games played. And Puljujärvi's back now, so he's going to see a little bit of his time, potentially cut back, particularly on the power play. But I mean, John, you like Yamamoto?
Yeah, I like Yamamoto. Is he going to keep up the pace? No. Ride him while he's hot? Absolutely.
The one thing we talked about in the past was how he never shoots the puck, right?
Yeah. No, that's just it.
So Now, recently, he's actually been shooting 2.1 shots on goal versus his season average of 1.4. So he's really been shooting the puck quite a bit more, and he's been burying his chances when he gets them. So I don't know if he's just more dialed in because of like they're pushing for a playoff spot now, or what's going on. Line mates, obviously playing with Kane and McDavid doesn't hurt.
Oh, I can't remember which Oilers broadcast it was. I think someone had said that they were encouraging Yamo to shoot more. Like, don't be afraid to shoot it.
Yep. And he needed to, right? That's been doesn't shoot enough. And I think Tyler said it before
can't
too.
Score if you don't shoot the puck.
Yeah, like he defers to McDavid all the time, right? It was So I mean, and you can't blame him, but shoot the puck, man.
You got the chance, shoot it.
Yeah. So another nice option there. Low ownership. Kyle Palmieri for the Islanders, 7% rostered, 4 games on the schedule for next week. He's playing with Bailey and Pajot and on power play too. He like the Islanders, he's kind of back to doing some good things. He's got 10 points, 6 goals in his last 10 games played. Something a bit unfortunate worth noting is that his time on ice and power play time on ice are actually down this year. And despite his individual shooting percentage of 10.8% to date being below his 3-year average of 12.4%, over the last 10 games, his shooting percentage is at 24%. So on the season, it looks fine, but over this current hot stretch, he's been shooting at an unsustainably high rate.
Yeah, there's a couple games in there where he's shooting 4 or 5 shots a game. So
again, another guy you just want to stream while he's producing, but
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping anyone real valuable for him though.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, Anthony Mantha. I think Bruce, you and I have talked about Mantha before.
Mm-hmm.
He's finally healthy and back at it. And my notes, does not play for Edmonton.
It'd be nice if he played for Edmonton.
Plays for Washington. We really got to proofread these things before they go out tomorrow.
If they knew us in real life, this would totally make sense.
Our name is very, very truthful. 29% roster for Mantha, 3 games played. Minus 16 strength of schedule, and he's playing with Backstrom and, Oshie if he's healthy, and on power play too. He appears to have shaken off the rust. He's got 5 points, 4 goals in his last 5 games played. He's on pace for 53 points, actually, through 17 games to date. Time on ice is down. His individual shooting percentage at 16.7% is definitely inflated relative to his 3-year average of 11.9%. And his team's even strike shooting percentage is at 13, almost 14%. So that's definitely not sustainable either. But give him a look anyway. The other guy here we had for forwards, there's a couple more, but Andre Kasha, I won't go into detail here, but he's been productive of late. He's now day-to-day.
Yeah, he got an elbow to the head, didn't he?
I believe so.
Oh, geez. Hopefully it's not another concussion.
Yeah, so he's like you in fantasy, Bruce. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all.
Pretty much, right?
So hopefully,
boy.
He's fine.
Duchesne did him in.
Oh.
What a jerk.
Yeah, so not ideal. He's here just because he has been producing. He's been playing with some good line mates. And the strength of schedule look pretty good for next week. But keep an eye on him if he's healthy. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to roll him out, especially in deep leagues. This guy, we had Jack Roslovic for Columbus, 4% rostered, 3 games on the schedule. He's been like with Boone Jenner going out. He's out week to week. Roslovic got deployment on the top line with Laine and Nyquist, and it seems to have paid dividends for the team here. Roslovic's not having a great season. Just he's on pace for 40 points. Last year he was almost on a nearly 60-point pace last season. But he had 2 goals on Wednesday, and he's got 7 points, 4 goals in his last 9 games played. So just kind of a sneaky depth option to keep an eye on. What do you guys think about Frank Vetrano?
I was just looking him up.
Who?
Yeah, right?
He's kind of the lost guy, right? So he gets basically played on the third line in Florida forever. He'd have decent scoring streaks, but nothing really sustainable. Then he gets traded to the Rangers, and they put him immediately in the top 6. So he's going to get his chance there to show what he can do.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see.
Got some pretty good line mates there in Panarin and Strome, so
yeah,
can't really complain about that too much.
No, so you should definitely get some better deployment playing for the Rangers. I was going to confirm that, though, because that was kind of the speculation, and now I think he's played 2 games. Yeah, no, he's his most recent game. He's Strome and Panarin, so.
Yeah, and he got a goal tonight, so.
So there you go. We might know some stuff, John.
Maybe.
We might.
Maybe. Actually, our waiver wire picks did really well this past week.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Well, not really surprised. Like, don't get me wrong here.
Like, holy shit, we hit on a couple of these.
Right? And I don't know if it's just me, just like from when we do the shows and then just having the names in your head and then throughout the week, they just pop up and you're like, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
So I didn't go back and total up all the points, but I'd say almost every guy that we recommended, at least at the forward position last week, put up at least a couple points. So that
They
was
were
nice
phenomenal.
to see. Yeah.
My last 4 pickups have come out of our waiver wire lists.
Okay, so we can start calling this the list of Bruce's pickups.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
There you go. All right. I won't go into too much.
Which guys Devin haven't picked up yet and pick those guys up.
Yes. It's funny enough, Cole Caufield was available, so I did pick him up on Friday. Oh, John.
This is way too much fun.
All right. And then I threw in a couple extra forwards here that I wanted to mention. One being Max Domi, 6% rostered. Typically hasn't been much of a fantasy producer this season, but he's actually got 8 points in his last 9 games. He's only playing around 13.5 minutes a game. But David Pagnotta mentioned that, according to his sources, Domi is almost certainly getting traded at the deadline. I don't anticipate his deployment is going to change a ton.
No.
But, if he can put up 8 points in 9 games, playing 13.5 minutes, maybe if he goes to a contender, he can continue to produce there too. So,
yeah. It's like the old needs a change of scenery, but that's kind of what happened in Montreal too. So I don't know. You can only do it so many times before you realize you're the problem.
Yeah, he's starting to become a frequent flyer around the league.
Yeah, that's just it.
But
he's not the player that everyone thought he was going to be.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't appear that way.
He showed flashes of it, but just wasn't able to do it consistently. Well, in this year, it's been injury issues, though, hasn't it, for him?
I haven't looked at him, Bruce, closely enough to know. But if you want to take a look, let me know.
I'll call him up and ask him.
Okay.
John's got him on speed dial.
Nope.
People actually use speed dial these days?
I think it's just recent calls now.
Swipe.
The other guy I want to talk about here is Yanni Gourde, 16% rostered. He's on a 6-game point streak, 9 points and 5 goals in his last 8 games played. He's one guy we talked about even preseason before the expansion draft, and just we expected some good things from him, and in garbage time, he seems to be coming through. And then last, just bonus forward here is Charlie Coyle, 11% rostered, 11 points, 2 goals in his last 10 games played. He's actually received over 19 minutes of ice time in his last 2 games here, and 76% power play share. And now Bergeron is going to miss Monday's game, it looks like, so Coyle's going to get he'll be a nice streaming option, picking up some extra time on ice and producing. So there you go. That's forwards for this week. Let's talk about some defensemen. There aren't many. Bruce, I was bugging you and John for some ideas, but I mean,
I totally forgot.
That makes 2 of us.
But I mean, well, you and I talked in your office, John. We were trying to come up with some options, and there really
There was none.
Right? It was like we were looking through the waiver wire, and there's really not a whole lot there. But there's 2 that I feel pretty good about recommending, and then the third one being Ben Schrot. And really, Ben Schrot's just, I think he'll get a bit more opportunity with Ekblad out. But the first guy here is Ryan Pulock, and I think he scored last night.
I believe he did because I picked him up because I lost the defense.
Did you see him on the list, Bruce?
I lost. Yeah, actually, I did. So I lost Shabbat to a broken hand, and it's like, I need a defenseman. So I'm like, it's the first place I went and looked was our list. Oh, Pulock. Okay, I'll pick him up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 22% rostered. 4 games on the schedule for next week. A -2 strength of schedule. He's playing with Pelech on the top pairing, and he's getting power play 2 times still. But between injuries and losing his spot on the top power play, it's been a bit of a rough season for him. He's currently on pace for just 31 points. His shot volume is down compared to his 3-year average, so he's at 1.8 shots on goal per game. His 3-year average is 2.2. He's seeing just an average of 1:30 on the power play. That's 36% power play share. But the good news is that his individual shooting percentage of 1.8% is well below his 3-year average of 3.8 and his career average of 4.7. He's starting to heat up here. He's got 9 points. Well, I guess it'd be 10 points and 3 goals in his last 10 games played. So he's starting to come on. Definitely a guy I'd be looking at if you need some help on D. And then this one, you might shake your head at. I don't know. Rasmus Ristolainen.
He doesn't get a whole lot of points or whatever. He covers a few categories, puts up a lot of ice time. I'm not saying it.
Gotta get those shifts, man.
I will. He gets a lot of shifts.
Gotta get those shifts.
But yeah, no, he's had a decent couple weeks here the last little bit. Hopefully that continues.
Yeah, and kind of one of the because I was really struggling with defensemen this week, I was starting to dive a little bit deeper and running a couple different reports. And one that I kind of looked at was, like you said, the category coverage, right? And over the last month, Ristolainen leads all defensemen in shots plus hits plus blocks per game at 8.64.
Oh, wow.
So some nice category coverage. He is chipping in with a little bit of offense. If you add to that his 12 penalty minutes and 5 assists in 11 games, it's some pretty nice category coverage, and he's available in about 65% of Yahoo leagues right now. So he's in the top pairing. He's getting lots of time on ice, like you said, and 4 games on the schedule. So there's actually some things to like there, given the right league setup. And then Ben Schrot, I mean, I won't spend a lot of time on him, right? But 4 games on the schedule. Ekblad's out. He's actually put up some offense here lately. I think they're probably just showcasing him for a trade. But, I mean, he had 8 points and 2 goals in his previous 8 games played. And we'll see where he gets slotted in Florida. But something to monitor anyway. And then let's talk about goaltenders here quick. So Spencer Knight's 40% rostered, 3 games on the schedule. On Tuesday night, he started his 2nd straight game. Like I said, I think he started 4 in a row here now. Since March 7th, he started 3 games, posting a 2-0-1 record with a 1.61 GAA, 946 save percentage, and a 3.27 goals saved above average. I mean, still expect starts to be limited for him, but probably worth some stream as a streaming option when you need someone to goal. It's worth noting that the Florida Panthers have the 2nd most back-to-backs on the schedule between March 16th and April 30th with 6. So I would just keep a close eye on him and what's going on with Bobrovsky. John, you had him, I think, earlier in the year, right? Spencer Knight?
Yeah, I did. And don't get me wrong, when he played, he was fine, other than a few bad outings. But yeah, he just wasn't getting the deployment, so I had to let him go. But with Bobrovsky having his injury issues or illness there, and then especially those back-to-backs, it's definitely worth taking a look at him. Absolutely.
All right, and then the last guy here on the waiver pick list for this week is Erik Källgren from the Maple Leafs, 17% rostered, 3 games on the schedule, -14 strength of schedule. I mean, and now just with the Leafs putting Mrazek on waivers, and
he's basically their only goalie.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the net is his, right? And at least until Campbell comes back. And if Campbell comes back and falls on his face again, well, Jagr will continue getting starts, right?
Because I don't know if Mrazek will clear. Nah, actually, I was just doing some reading here while I was filling out the notes. Wedgwood just got traded from Arizona to Dallas.
Okay.
And they're thinking that what may happen now is that Arizona may grab Mrazek now as a backup to the young guy they're trying to sign to an extension.
So
that would really throw a good old wrench in the Maple Leafs' plans if all of a sudden someone did pick up Mrazek.
So does that mean we should see a trade? Like, is Holtby getting moved out of Dallas?
Well, they lost Hudobin in AHL. He suffered an injury and he's done for the season.
That's right, but they've got Ottinger and Holtby, and now they've got Wedgwood.
Yeah, well, one of them will probably go. So Wedgwood probably will end up he'll back up Ottinger until he's healthy, and then they may send him down, unless maybe Holtby is hurt worse than were thought.
He looked fine today. I don't know if you saw Mike sent that tweet out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was just standing there, but
getting the good old ovation
for like 2 straight minutes.
So
my boy Holtby,
it'd be something to watch anyway.
Love it.
But now I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona takes a run at him.
Okay. Well, that was interesting.
But who knows? Anything to screw up the Leafs.
There's more coming, I'm sure, between now and the trade deadline at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, and then just quickly, one last thing on Jagr here. In 3 appearances, he's got a 2-0-1 record with a 1.20 GAA, a 964 save percentage, and a 4.39 GSAA. Limited sample size, but he looked damn good. So at 17% rostered, he should be readily available and someone that I would be looking at if you need some help in goal.
Agreed.
All right, and there it is. That is the waiver wire pickups for the week. Speaking of the trade deadline, we're going to do a bonus episode on Wednesday with Mike. We're just going to give our thoughts post-trade deadline. We'll do some sort of an assessment, winners and losers, or the fantasy impact on some of these moves, if there are any. So that should be fun. We're looking forward to that with Mike. And for this week, to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Tyler, thanks for letting us know you had to take off early and we had to do the show a bit early, but that's all good. Bruce, nice work on the headline notes today. John, as always good work. You just always continue to amaze me.
There you go. I love it.
Anyway, if you guys have questions, be sure to keep submitting your questions for the Ask the Hacks giveaway from Left Wing Lock. Get entered to win a free 1-year subscription to Left Wing Lock iPhone app. So you can submit those questions on social media, on Twitter at FHHacks, on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. Send us an email, fantasyhockeyhacks@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Reddit.
We're on everything.
So wherever you want to get in touch with us, feel free. And then be sure, of course, to check out the website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. We're going to have all of our show notes, all of our links for sponsors and partnerships and all that good fun stuff. And with that, guys, we'll call it for another week. Thanks. It was a lot of fun. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, Felicia.
Take care.